Is this Tractor Supply side-by-side the best fully optioned UTV on the market? Let's take a look at it and find out. So we've got our hands on the BigHorn DXH 550 side-by-side. And BigHorn is a sponsor of our main channel, Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead, and that's why we have this side-by-side to check out. We want to talk about what a great value it is for the options that are available on this machine. Now, I will tell you, I have always lived life on a budget. I've never been able to go and buy anything with all of the bells and whistles. It's just kind of not an option. I bought a new Toyota Tacoma one time, but it was the absolute base model truck, and they had to look around at all the other dealerships to try to find me one that didn't have any added options, because everybody seems to add all of these special features, but they cost a lot of money. So normally, I just go with the most basic. But as I get a little bit older, I want a few more comforts, I get a little bit more financially stable, and so I want to get the best value while still being able to get some of those options. And I believe this may be the answer. So the BigHorn DXH is a full cab UTV that comes standard with four-wheel drive, locking front differential, locking rear differential, 14-inch alloy wheels, the full cab, heat, mirrors, turn signals, headlights, taillights, most of the things that you need to get this legal in a lot of the states. It has electronic power steering, it has four-wheel disc brakes, independent A-arm suspension, nitrogen adjustable shocks, a 3,500-pound winch, a backup camera, and heat. Did I mention heat? This thing has got it all. Now, I will tell you guys, because this was a sponsored machine for our main channel, I don't know specifically which options are add-ons, and I think it's the touchscreen Apple CarPlay that we have that does not come standard on this, but most of the other things on the DXH come standard for $15,000. Now, that's a lot of money, there's no question about that, but I also spent close to $19,000 on a Kubota Sidekick over a year ago, and it has none of this stuff. It's just a basic machine, base model machine. So for $4,000 more, I had none of the creature comforts. It's been a good machine, we enjoyed using it, but there is something special about climbing into a full cab when it's 35 degrees out and flipping on the heat and staying comfortable. Having music to play, having a backup camera so you don't back into things, having side view mirrors and turn signals and things so that you can drive to the Dollar General down the road. If you go to the websites of any of the major manufacturers and spec out one of their machines with all of these options, you will spend $22,000 plus for any of the most basic machines with all of these options. Now guys, I've done my share of cheaping out over the years, and I have bought lots of generic products and cheap junk and tried to get by with those things, only to find out that in the first month or two it was falling apart. When you bring those things home and you first start to use them, you figure out pretty quickly they're just not very well made. A lot of the components are cheap, the bolts that they use are not good quality steel, and so they strip out easily. All of these things are ways that they've cut corners to save money. So I was a little bit skeptical about the BigHorn machine until I got it here and started using it. And I can tell you that the fit and finish of this machine is just as good as any of the other side-by-sides I've been in. The plastics and the components that it's made out of seem to be of good quality. The suspension, the ride is good. There are lots of things about this machine that impress me. The technology that's used in it works well. All of the linkages seem to operate the way that they're supposed to. And that's something that I can't even say for some of the name brand machines I've ran. Now, as I have already had this machine out on my main channel and got some feedback and comments on it, one of the things that I got comments about right away was, where are you going to get parts for it? Or how is the dealer support? And while I've not had it long enough to be able to answer those questions with experience, I can go to the BigHornPowersports.com website and see their dealer locator, and I find 6 dealerships that are within driving distance of my farm. That's 60 miles away or so. With that many dealerships and the fact that they're sold in Tractor Supplies, that means there's going to be a lot of them around. I was able to look on their website and find an Excel spreadsheet that had exploded parts diagrams and part numbers for everything on the machine. With all of that information out there, I feel confident that when something breaks on this machine, I'll be able to track down the replacement parts. I may or may not use a dealer. That's kind of the way I am about just about everything. I do my own service, I do my own maintenance. And so unless it's a catastrophic failure that's going to be covered by a bumper-to-bumper warranty, then I normally don't worry too much about going to the dealer other than getting parts. And I think those parts are going to be out there. Now, we got this machine and we took it out on our farm and we absolutely blasted it from day one. We run it through big old mud holes. We took it over some jumps. We took it through the whoops on the motocross track, and we took it through our tight trails to just see how small of trails that we could fit this thing through. And it performed nearly flawlessly in all of those things. The only complaint that I shared is that it is very noisy inside the cab when you're running the engine hard. And after I released that video, I actually got an email from some representatives in the company that said they're working on that noise issue and they're going to have some solutions. So that's good to hear. They're taking feedback and they're hearing what people are saying and working to improve. That's the sign of a company that wants to stay around. I'm going to be using this BigHorn side-by-side not as an off-road play toy, but as transportation around my homestead. So while I'm showing footage of us running this through mud holes and over whoops and all of those things, that's not how this is going to be used. I'm going to be using it for hauling my tools back and forth from job sites on the farm, or hauling my chainsaw out into the woods as we cut down trees and logs for our sawmill, or transportation up here to the cabin so that we can camp out and fish and have a good time. So this is mainly a transportation around the farm type of unit, and you're going to be able to do it in comfort because it has all of these features. So I'm not sitting here telling you that I know for certain this is the best machine out there, it's the best choice, and you need to go buy one. But what I'm telling you is I have one, I brought it home, I've put it through its paces, and I really enjoy it. In fact, I enjoy it so much that I think I'm getting rid of my other side-by-side, and I'm going to use this as my main machine. I'm satisfied that this is a good machine, but two, I'm going to be using it here enough that if this machine does not live up to expectations, we're going to find out about it on the farm. So if you are shopping for a UTV and you want more information, be sure and subscribe to our channel because we'll be sharing more as we go along. In fact, one of the things I have planned to do is to get my Kubota XG850 Sidekick out here, and we'll talk about the differences that I see, the good and the bad of both machines and how they compare to one another. That's the deal. You can go buy a name brand machine and you have a certain amount of reputation and dealer support and things that you already have confidence in, and so that helps with that decision. But when it's $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more to go that route, and you can get a quality machine for much less, sometimes it's worth taking a look at it. And that's what I hope to share with you guys, but understand that I am sponsored by BigHorn on our main channel, and so that's why we have this machine to begin with. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting to see the BigHorn DXH 550. And until next time, be sure and get outside and enjoy God's creation because it is beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.